Hello YouTubers, Rogue Monkey Jr. here for another episode of Bare Bones Sunday. Today's gun that will be featured is the MTAR-21. It is a carbine, so it is a gun that can be used by all classes, and it is a bullpup weapon. That means that the magazine is actually loaded in the back of the gun instead of like in the middle or more to the front, which gives in real life, the bullet a lot more bullet velocity. This doesn't really affect it in game. So on to the gun stats. It has a pretty basic carbine damage model. Has max damage of 24 and it drops all the way down to 15.4 at 50 meters. So pretty much like all the other carbines, you can need 4 or 5 shots kill your enemy depending on if you get a headshot or not in there. And the damage drop off starts at 8 meters, which is pretty early. So this is going to be a gun that you're going to want to use in close quarter to medium range combat. You're not really going to want to use this gun for further ranges, considering this carbine has a RPM of 900, which makes it the fastest shooting carbine, comparable at the same fire rate as the AEK-971 in the assault rifle class of weapons. So yeah, this gun is really going to be more for close quarters. It has a bullet velocity of 510 meters per second, but seeing as, like I said, you're going to want to use this gun in close to medium range combat, that doesn't really matter because you're not really going to need to lead your target anyways. It has quite a bit of recoil too, so this is something that you really want to look at when you're using it. It has a recoil up of 0.34 and a pull left of 0.42 and a pull right of 0.42. So this gun kicks like a mule. That's really why you're not going to want to use this at long range, because you're going to just fucking miss all your shots. And not only that, it also has a 2.6 shot multiplier for the first shot. So that means every time you take the first shot with your gun, the recoil is going to be multiplied by 2.6. So it's really going to fuck up your aim. Like, you can't really tap fire this weapon. You're going to really need to go like full auto. So that's why it's a close quarter weapon. The short reload for this gun clocks in at 2.35 seconds, and the long reload is going to take 2.75 seconds. It's not too bad considering that some weapons take 3 seconds for the short reload and above. But of course it's not as good as, let's say it's the AK-5C carbine, which has a 1.85 second short reload time. So that's 0.5 second difference. So you really have to time your reloads better than if you're using a gun that reloads a lot faster. And then this one, something that's good with this gun, it has pretty good hip fire accuracy. I was taking out enemies without even aiming around sight, pretty close, and like all my shots were hitting no problem. So that's something that's quite good with this weapon. And the accuracy while moving is actually pretty good too. I kept moving around while using this gun, so if you're somebody that doesn't really stop and shoot, this is a gun that's going to be pretty well suited for you, because you can really kill people while moving with this gun, no problem. It also has a magazine capacity of 31 shots with the bullet in the chamber, of course. So that's going to mean you're going to need to take out multiple enemies in front of you, no problem, with this high rate of fire and its 24 damage model. Especially if you throw in a couple of headshots in there, you're going to be able to mow down through 2 or 3 enemies without a problem with one clip before you have to reload. But if you start firing at longer ranges, that's going to completely fuck you up. You're not going to be able to kill enemies. You're going to have to reload a lot. So if you want to use this gun, I would suggest close quarter maps, like lockers, metro, or some game modes in which you get really up close and personal with your enemy, like domination, team deathmatch. And I was even playing capture the flag with it, and I was doing pretty good with it too. But you really gotta get close into your enemy. Like, you could even use this gun in rush if you can get close enough to your targets. I mean, you're not going to be doing any good if you're just camping in your base. If you're on the attacker side, you're not going to be killing anybody with this gun. But if you're really pushing the MCOMs, you're actually going to be able to do pretty good with this weapon. The stock weapon is pretty good. I mean, it's not the best, seeing as I was using like the stock sight for it. The iron sight is pretty long, like it takes up a good part of your screen when you're zooming in. So that kind of messes you up when you're trying to aim down sight at a target that's a little bit further away. So when I was using this gun stock, sometimes I found myself shooting it more from the hip when I was close quarters, just because I couldn't see shit when I was zooming in. so I was just using the hip fire. Okay, so moving on to the attachments of the MTAR-21. I think you guys are starting to notice that my favorite sight is the Coyote RDS. I just use it on this weapon because it's a close quarter combat weapon, and I wouldn't really see the point of putting a magnified sight on here like a M145 or the ACOG, so I just use the Coyote. Of course, you could put a one-time sight, but I would not go any more magnified than that. The second attachment I put on here, and the reason why I love the Carbine class of weapons so much, is that you can equip the target detector on the weapon. This really, some people say that doesn't help at all, but I find it really helps when you can't quite see the enemy, and sometimes you don't really feel like spamming Q to spot. You could just use this, and if you aim over the enemy while aim down sight, you're going to be able to spot that enemy, even if you didn't really see him, and you don't have to press Q or anything. I find it works pretty well. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't really work, but most of the time it does. For the barrel, I don't put anything on here. I feel it works better with a standard barrel. Of course, sometimes if I'm playing recon, aggressive recon that is, I will equip a suppressor on it just to stay off the minimap. Like if I'm using the Pokeballs and C4, I'm just going to use a suppressor just to stay off the minimap as much as possible. But when I'm not playing aggressive recon, I just stick with the standard barrel. Underbarrel attachments. Seeing as you're not going to use this weapon to tap fire, I wouldn't put a grip that reduces your first shot recoil. I would just put something that helps you improve the accuracy with automatic fire. So I just equipped the potato grip, and then my favorite camo, and this is how I run the MTAR. So finishing this video off on a little bit of Dragon Valley gameplay. This map isn't the best for using this close quarter gun, but seeing as I was recording the footage just after the map came out, I couldn't help myself but play Dragon Valley. You can actually do pretty well if you keep to the temple and the little pagoda on the other side of the temple. If you keep to those two flags, you can actually do pretty good with the MTAR. That's about it for today's video. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys like to run the MTAR and which gun you would like to see featured in the next episode of Bare Bones Sunday. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, have a good one and take it easy.